Hello, welcome to Princess World for Gauntlet Games now on April 28th, 2019. We're playing Princess World, and I'm Noella, they, them pronouns, and why don't the three of you introduce yourselves so that we all know each other and what pronouns we use. So Lucian, we can start with you.
Hi, I'm Lucian, he, him pronouns.
And then Pearl.
I'm Pearl, she, her pronouns.
Steven, he, his pronouns.
Great. So, first, I want to talk about safety tools that we're going to use in this game. And then you could, if there's another safety tool that you want to use, you can feel free to speak up. I'm just going to talk about the ones that I usually use. So, the ones that I usually use, are the lines and veils and the X card. So we have a slide on the PowerPoint that is the lines and veils sheet. So this is basically kind of looking at what kind of content we don't want to have in the game. So a line is like a hard no, and like something that shouldn't be in there at all. And then a veil is like something that's okay to be like mentioned or in a character's backstory, but it's not something that will appear on screen. And so you can go ahead and fill out the lines and veils sheet. I set it up this way so we can do it anonymously, and then we can talk about it a little bit. And also, this is a living document, so at any point in the game, we can change, we can upgrade a veil to a line, we can add anything. This is not set in stone. And then the second tool that I usually use is the X card, which is basically a way to kind of flag content that comes up in the game and have a way to take it out. So basically, if you're ever uncomfortable or if something comes up that you don't like, you can feel free to X card it. So because we might be switching back and forth between the video chat and the roll for your party and the PowerPoint and the character sheet and the move sheet, the best way I think to do this would be to say X card, I'd like to X that. You can also write it in the chat or do this. This is the best way for me to make sure that I get the message is probably to say X or multiple messages. And so I might ask you for like a clarification of what you want to X, but you never have to explain why you want to X unless you want to, and we can always talk about it. But that's up to your discretion. You don't have to. And then this isn't a tool specifically, but just in general, a thing that I like to do that I think is good is if you have an idea for something that you think might be pushing it a little, or you're concerned that it might be a little bit like triggering, or it might be kind of shaky content, I found that it's always good to ask before you introduce it, saying like, I have X idea, and are you guys okay with me introducing this into the game? For example, if there's something that's like maybe like extreme violence or something that's a little uncomfortable. And that's just something that I feel like sometimes it's better to ask beforehand. There's always the X card, but I just think it's good to kind of have that discussion with the other players. So does anybody have any questions?
I just have not played this or similar games really before, so please be patient with me while I figure out things.
It's totally fine.
So just letting you know right now. I'm like, yes, fade and threads and things. I can definitely get this. Just need to read a little bit more.
Yeah. You can. We have some time for you to like read through some of the materials and do character creation. And if you have any questions, just ask.
Thank you.
Just like at any time during the game while we're playing, if you have a question, like you can just ask. We can pause and clarify. That's no problem.
And I like to think that once things get started, it usually ends up being fine.
Yeah.
So my first 5 minutes of anything, I get like flustered, thinking I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And you guys you can take some time to work on those character sheets and looking over stuff. So, just remember while you're working on like truths and maybes, to put like unpleasant truths in black. And what I might suggest that a truth is an unpleasant truth in conversation with you. So don't be offended. That's just part of the game. So I'm going to be just like looking on as you guys are filling out character sheets. So take your time.
All right, the truths I've chosen for Princess Sapphire, the pirate princess, are: my tiara has a sapphire skull and crossbones on it. My cutlass is an awesome weapon that doesn't draw blood. My pirate coat works like a jetpack. And I work outside the law.
Okay. I have got, so my princess is named Courtney Z. She is a skateboard princess. her ride. So a commoner friend gave it to her, and it goes really fast, but has squeaky wheels. Her jacket was $4,000 and is punk inspired. Her style is highlighter neons. And I ordered the Royal Palace swimming pool to be emptied so I could skateboard in it because it's grittier than a custom half pipe.
Steven, I'm just gonna, so I see, so I have, I guess there's 2 character keepers in this folder. One was the, just the blank one, and I think you put yours in the blank one, or maybe even, so there's one that's Gauntlet Games Now 428 in the folder, so make sure you put your character stuff in that one. So everybody is on the same sheet. Lucian, did you mean those to be your truths or just information?
Those are my truths. I just thought it'd be
Okay.
easier to see them if they're on the front page.
Okay. I think that ordering the Royal Palace swimming pool to be empty could be considered an unpleasant truth. So, oh, also, remember, Lucian, so put the rest of the truths in your favorite, your character's favorite color, which I have reserved black for the unpleasantness.
So I'm in the Google Doc, I think. I'll figure it out. Bother.
And remember to pick your character moves too.
Okay, so I'm going to say some things about my princess since I can't seem to write them in the document. But hopefully that will work. I am the fairy princess, Princess Tintin, which is short for Tintinabulation. And I use she, her pronouns. And my moves, do I tell them to you? I can't seem to select them on the sheet, so. Right, I can't hear you for some reason.
So, I would just use, you can insert shapes and just like, I would just circle them. I can just do it for you if you're having trouble. Which ones do you want?
I was going to go with Hard Candy and Magically Me. But I can probably insert a thing. Actually, if you want to do it, that'd be great. Apparently, I can't figure it out.
Yeah, I just did it for you.
Thank you. And then my truths. I say it about all four things. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, my wand, whenever I use it, it makes fancy, showy, like glittery light come everywhere, but that's just like a dorky thing. It doesn't actually, like, I've made it do that because I'm goofy. And I like people to think I'm doing fancy magic all the time, even if I'm doing nothing particularly interesting. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
My wings are generally like petite, cute, fairy looking things, but if I really want to, I can unfold them into like giant, sort of terrifying, very large things and soar. But because sort of along the same lines, this is the wand. I'm trying to do the fairy thing the way fairies should do it. I keep them looking small and glittery and whatnot most of the time. My aura. I don't know what truth to make up about an aura. Does anyone have a suggestion for? Steven, if you're trying to say something, you're muted. You look like maybe you are.
No, I wasn't trying to say something. I was trying to think of something.
Yeah, that's it. Can other people see my aura? Did I like miss where it's discussed what the aura is or does, that I would know what to reveal about it?
You could. It's up to your interpretation. It could be something people could actually see. It could just be like what kind of vibes you give off.
Okay, how about this? Generally, my aura only shows if I want it to, and it's like a little shimmery haze around me. But if I am feeling an exceptionally strong emotion, sometimes it shows up anyway, which I find embarrassing. Like if I get really mad, I might start glowing red. And then I'm embarrassed because I feel like it's letting my hand show whether I like it or not. And a general truth about me is that a lot of the time I feel like I am trying very hard to keep up the fairy image because I'm a fairy princess, but that I am not always as good at it as, or I don't always feel like it comes naturally to me to do all of the expected fairy things.
I think those last two are kind of unpleasant truths.
Okay.
And then what was your favorite color?
Oh, I was gonna pick some sort of like teal, but I wasn't sure how specific I was allowed to be about that.
You can be however specific you want.
Like a turquoisey teal of some sort. I was trying to find the text colors so that I could pick one on the sheet.
How's that?
Where am I? Yes. That's lovely. Perfect.
So, Stephen, can you do yours again? Can you introduce your character again?
Sure. I'm saying Princess Sapphire, the pirate princess. She's got a pirate ship, which is basically a zeppelin with a ship on it.
Awesome.
And her truths are: her tiara has a sapphire with a skull and cross. Her tiara has a sapphire skull and crossbones on it. Her cutlass is an awesome weapon that doesn't draw blood. It's just like she smashes people with it. Her pirate coat works like a jetpack, and she works best outside the law. Oh yeah, and her character moves are ahoy there and the pirate code.
Ahoy there. For Pete's sake. Go back.
Do you want, Stephen? Why don't you read your threads?
Oh yes, I need to look at those, don't I? Which one of you has sailed with me, and which one of you have I stolen something from? I think, Princess Tintin, you have sailed with me.
Yay!
And, yeah, Courtney Z. Oh, what did I steal from you? Give me...
I think you. What year is it? This will help me decide.
I sort of feel like this is like a fantasy realm, so it's maybe not strictly tied to our world's chronology, but...
Okay, I think you stole my purple Walkman and obscure mixtapes.
Oh no!
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
A cool pirate he is. Or wait, I didn't actually look at your pronouns. I apologize. I'm just gonna keep some notes that I can handily reference since I'm very clumsy with the Google Doc.
Remember to write the names in for the threads.
Wait. Somebody is writing on my character sheet.
Oh shoot! Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah. I thought I was on mine.
It's fine.
I was looking at yours and sorry, screwed up.
It's fine.
That's okay. I probably would have done the same thing if I were even figuring out how to write on it in general. So,
Yeah. Yes.
Which one of you wishes you were like me?
is that one of your threads?
Yeah, it says, which one of you wishes they were more like me?
What's the other one? Because I feel like that's probably me, but
The other one is, which one of you has seen me fall off my skateboard or whatever?
oh, I think I wish I were more like you because I'm not very good at being my type of princess, but I feel like you're really cool. Your type
Thank
of princess. So
Amazing.
Yeah, and I think I saw you fall off your skateboard because I actually stole the nuts that were holding the wheels on as a joke.
Yes, perfect.
And then, Pearl, yours are which one of you made me laugh the most, and which one of you finds me somewhat annoying?
oh, I don't like that second one.
I know.
All right, well, which one of you makes me laugh the most?
I'm guessing that because I'm a little bit more of a snob, like maybe I'm the one who finds you more annoying.
That seems fitting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like you wish you were more like me, and I'm just like, psh, whatever.
Plus, I've sailed with Princess Sapphire, so probably we have a rapport.
Oh yeah, you're cool.
So I'm supposed to give. How do we give the threads? Or
Well, for now, you just write down their names.
okay.
If you need help, I can do it.
I am in favor of you writing on the sheet, which I feel is my nemesis currently. Like,
And then when you actually use, there's thread moves on that move sheet that explain what you do when you actually use it.
okay. Courtney.
Okay, now that we're all done with character creation and threads, let's take a break. Let's take a 15-minute break. I have to call my dad.
All right.
So have a nice long break. And then when we get back, we'll do the brainstorming of the conflicts and problems, and then we'll play.
Great.
Great.
Awesome. Hopefully, I will come back understanding what's going on more, or at least having written things down somewhere I can actually see them.
All right, now that we're all back, let's create some challenges and problems. And the lines and veils again, because I realized we didn't do this at the time. So veils is death of mother, and lines is pet death, violence against cats, and medical details. Okay. Yeah, no Disney princess mothers. Because they're never there. Okay, so now we're going to come up with like a couple of challenges or problems that we want to solve.
What if someone has cut off the chocolate supply?
Oh, that's perfect.
Is that to all kingdoms everywhere?
Yeah, to all realms.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, and if the lollipop dragon doesn't, the lollipop dragon wakes up once a week, and if there's not chocolate waiting for him, he'll go on a rampage.
Oh no!
Yes.
That ramped that up quite a bit. I really better get this solved.
And all of these conflicts and challenges don't have to be related to each other, so you can also throw out something completely different.
How many are we supposed to have total, or is it just we're...
It's a couple. There's no like set
Are there realms other than like ours
yes. So
and the proper and space ones, which we don't have assigned? But like, are there other
yeah, I
realms
think
that we
we
could
can
just
assume that there are
make
lots
up?
of other realms as well.
Okay, because maybe there's brewing tension between the snow queen's realm and the dragon realm, because the snow queen feels like the dragons keep getting too near and melting off parts of the castle. And the dragon keeps saying it's an accident, the Dragon King, but like eventually that's going to come to a head, and we're all like seeing the fallout coming and hoping we can maybe mitigate it.
Stephen, do you have any other ideas, Stephen?
My pirate crew, I promised them a beach vacation, but I don't have enough money.
No.
Okay. So I'm going to use my 4 blocks of fade that I had from the truce to add one. So the one that I added is Zephyra, Princess of the Fade, is putting curses on various members of the realm.
Oh no.
Of the realms.
She better watch her. I'm gonna pull out the big wings.
So I don't think we have to specifically pick one now. We can just see where it goes. So it's 19 after the hour now. So why don't we aim to play for about an hour? Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay.
So where are the Princess Council?
What if we what if it's our policy to like meet in different members' realms on like different days, and like today we happen to be like sitting at the bottom of my emptied out swimming pool in the backyard of my mansion, and it's like you can see that the swimming pool was like originally like tiled with like blue tiles, but I've like pried up all of the tiles and like sanded it down, and there's all these like skateboard wheel streak marks like all over the inside of the pool.
Yeah, and like I'm I'm down in the pool. I've got my jetpack coat going, so like I'm sitting about 3 feet up, just sort of hovering.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glaring at you like, and like maybe every once in a while, you know, Courtney's just like, what, you think you're like too precious to sit on the concrete?
This is cooler.
Yeah, I guess if you're like that kind of royalty.
Which I am. I totally am. The cool kind of royalty.
Courtney like flips her long purple pigtails in exasperation.
She just has no sense of humor. Isn't that right, Tintin?
You're muted.
How did I get muted?
I muted you. I can manually mute people.
Ah. Well, I'm gonna use a spell on you, so be careful. But yes, no, I think Courtney Z just wishes that she were able to float like some of us do. That's all. We don't need to rub it in Sapphire. I think, you know, some of us have special abilities that others might not, as their style of royalty.
What are you trying to say, that I couldn't float if I wanted to?
So, you with you is kind of your collective governess, Prudence, and she's like, now, let's not fight.
Can you float, Prudence?
Unfortunately, I am not Mary Poppins.
Perhaps that's why you're cutting off our conversation.
And she's just like, looks very offended.
Okay. I'm giving a slightly smug look to Princess Sapphire, who is the only person who is nice to me around here.
Courtney sighs deeply and then says, ladies, I'm hangry. We need to solve this chocolate crisis or we're never going to stop fighting.
I actually agree with you. And am hangry as well. And also, I mean, chocolate's just necessary. Like, that's what our kingdoms deserve and need. So, do we know who's cut it off? Have we had any leads on this situation?
Right. Well, the chocolate princess didn't come to this meeting, so I think we need to go to her realm and find out what's going on, because that's where all the chocolate comes from.
Oh, yes, Princess Milky.
Princess Milky. Maybe that's why she's grumpy. Well, shall we head away then? I mean, no time like the present, right?
Just as those words come out of her mouth, Courtney is like already on her skateboard. She like throws her expensive punk inspired jacket over her shoulders, flips her neon long purple pigtails over her shoulders, and is just like tearing off in the direction of the chocolate realm.
Well, I don't know if that counts as taking the lead, but I'm happy to follow along in a let's roll capacity because
Yeah.
Right.
So if we encounter a hazard, anybody who follows me may use my pluck instead of yours.
I will happily follow along.
Great.
At the moment.
Yeah.
I might get distracted along the way because that is my fairy way.
Yeah.
I like to flit about.
Yeah,
but I'll be there.
Right, and I'll climb up to my pirate ship and follow.
Is it a flying pirate ship?
Yes, it's a Zeppelin.
Oh, that's right. Yes, it is a Zeppelin.
That's awesome.
Yes. So when you arrive in the chocolate realm, you find something very disturbing. So as you approach the castle, which is made of chocolate, at least it looks like it is, you see, like, as you're walking towards it, first you see, like, what looks like rocks, but on closer inspection is actually little animals that have been turned into stone. And as you get closer and closer, you get to like the entrance to like the palace gardens, which usually has chocolate fountains and like bushes with candy berries on it, but everything has been turned into stone. And there's nobody around. And what do? You're kind of in this courtyard where everything that used to be like full of life and like full of sweetness has just turned to stone, and like the colors are muted.
I think Courtney is going to do like a hardness test on this stone through sheer like punching brute force. So she's gonna like go up to a like a stone bunny that used to be like, there used to be all kinds of like cute chocolate bunnies hopping around this realm. And she sees one of those, but it's like a stone bunny. And she sort of like tentatively punches its what used to be its little chocolate fluffy tail to see if the stone is like really hard or if it's an illusion.
It's really hard.
Okay, so she's gonna like punch it and then just like shake her hand in pain and be like, "Why would anybody ruin the bunnies?"
Yeah, I'm going to scope out the location because I've got a special move for that.
And I was going to use my magically me at the beginning of this scene, if this still counts as the beginning. I don't know.
Yes, this can still count as the beginning.
Okay, so my temporary truth for this scene is that while I don't always remember a lot of spells out of nowhere to cast, if a spell has already been cast on something, say to turn it to stone, I can inspect it and figure out how that magic works.
You want to inspect now?
And I do. I want to start inspecting the stone things and figuring out what kind of magic would have been able to cause it. I don't know if that makes me able to do the magic or reverse it or anything. I don't know how far this magically me thing goes, but...
why don't we just say it lets you kind of see like how it's working and give you like insight into what happened.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna inspect the bunnies. Courtney, let me figure this out. This is kind of my thing. and I am with who would precious little bunnies? Who would dare? So I'm gonna go inspect them, and then do I make up what happens, or do you make up what happens?
I can do it. So as you go and you look, and I think maybe you touch the bunny, you kind of get this feeling of extreme dread and fear and a chill rushing through you, and it's just this sense of evil that's coming from this spell that has been cast over the bunnies in this whole palace. And you get that whoever casts this spell is full of malice and just a sort of evil.
Courtney,
Okay.
Sapphire. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and when I rolled on my special move, I got a 7, so I get to ask one question, and I'm going to ask, what is the most useful thing here?
The most useful thing here would be to go inside the palace and find the princess and see what happened to her.
Cool. So I'm assuming that you're going to tell us this, right?
Yeah.
So I am once again going to take the lead, doing let's roll, and just hop on my skateboard and skate in through the palace gates.
Wait, Courtney.
Last one in's a rotten bunny, she says.
No, but Courtney, I have to. Sapphire, what do I do? I really need to tell you guys when I touch the bunny. There's something going on. We need to proceed with some caution.
It's too late for that. It's too late for that. I mean,
All right.
Pirate code says that you never let your companions face danger alone.
I totally agree. I'm willing to follow along with Courtney. I just wish that she knew what we were in for. There's something evil here. So let's go as fast as we can and catch her and hope for the evil.
As Courtney is skateboarding, up to the palace gates, she's singing a cool skater girl song at the top of her lungs, and is just not paying any attention to anybody.
Right.
And her pigtails are billowing behind her.
Right. So, and what I just said about the pirate code is a temporary maybe for everyone.
Yeah.
So maybe we can let people face danger alone.
Yeah. So as you introduce those, just if you can write them down, so we know. So as Courtney, as you're just lackadaisically going towards those doors, so there are, there's usually little statues that is decoration outside of these doors, and these are what's a good animal? Let's just say that it's two lion statues, and they spring to life, and as they're animated, they've become rotting chocolate. So they have this really terrible smell, and it's kind of running off them, and there's holes. But well, you haven't touched it yet, but it looks fragile, but at the same time, they're still moving, so they look fearsome, and they start to go towards you they're going to attack you.
Okay.
So these are rotting chocolate lions?
Yes.
I would like to yell, "Hey, weird lions things, look over here," and then cast a spell that mainly just splashes around a lot of glitter and whatever, but doesn't do much because that's typically how I roll. But to try to distract them so that they don't just get Courtney immediately since she's so near them.
Okay, I think that's probably a thwart opponent's roll.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
So do you have the roll for your party link?
It's on that PowerPoint. There's like just one slide that has the link.
Okay. Sorry, the PowerPoint and I are not getting along well.
Yeah,
I'm
I
working
put it
on
in.
it.
I put it in the chat.
Ah, thank you. Okay. Why am I like not getting? I'm starting to be annoyed at like the whole internet at this point for not paying attention to what I want. But all right. Lots of aid, character creation, challenges. What slide is it in the PowerPoint?
The second one.
I found it. Okay, got it. All right. So I'm rolling against the chocolate lions with my spell.
Well, you're just rolling. I don't roll for them. It's just the outcome is based on what you roll.
Okay, what kind of die do I roll?
It's 2d6s.
2d6s. All right. Oh, wait. Okay. And I just hit reroll selected, right?
Yeah, you can.
Why is it not doing anything when I click it?
If it doesn't work, you can just go back up to the top and do it.
All right. I got a total of 7, a 2 and a 5.
Okay. So a 7 is like a success with caveats. So
Right. But you're also you're rolling with a particular stat, which is on the second page of your character sheet.
So you have to add your punch.
Oh, wait a second though. At any time, I can switch my persuade and my punch and express a temporary unpleasant truth about my new form. So I'm going to do that, which means that I'm rolling that with a +3 instead of a -1.
Okay.
And my temporary unpleasant truth is guideline. Can someone give me a guideline about what kind of truth I should be coming up with here? Like, does it need to be about what I'm doing, or could it just be anything?
It can be anything. It just has to be a little bit unpleasant.
Like it could be like you can't control your aura.
Okay.
Or it could even be just like Courtney's being annoying.
Actually, I will say that my temporary unpleasant truth is that while I like and admire Courtney, as has been discussed before, I am finding her sort of forging ahead despite my trying to warn against dangers and whatnot to be exasperating, and it is now showing in my aura as a sort of orangey like pulsing, because I'm using all of my other energy to cast this spell to try to distract the rotting lions.
Good.
And now everyone knows.
So you did get a hit. So you inflict a temporary unpleasant truth on them, being the lions.
Can I do a move against the lions?
Yes, I think yours would be Brave Danger.
So let me tell you what I want to do, and then tell me what I have to do mechanically.
Okay.
So I would like to do an ollie, like do a skateboard move where I like kick the bottom of my board and jump up in the air and like head stomp with my skateboard on the lion.
I think that would also be a thwart opponent.
Okay. So what do? I roll punch?
2d6. Yeah, you roll a punch.
Cool. Great. So I have a 7 + 2 is a 9.
Okay, so you inflicted a temporary unpleasant truth on them, and also one of your allies suffers a temporary unpleasant truth as well.
Okay.
And then I picked that one, and
I picked the one to the lion.
yes, and then
Great.
Pearl, you are inflicting 2 unpleasant temporary truths onto the lion since you got a 10.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say that the way that I have landed on the lion is that like my skateboard basically just landed right on the lion's sort of line of sight, like sinus area, and the wheels have just kind of slightly sunken into the chocolate around the lion's eyes, so that I'm like standing on the lion's face, kind of temporarily obscuring its vision.
And
So
then
I haven't actually blinded the lion. I'm just like standing on its eyes on a skateboard.
And then Pearl, why don't you say what you do to them?
Okay, so I distracted them with my glittery nonsense, and they sort of try to pivot quickly, but because their chocolate is sort of rotting and not very solid, their feet like get a little bit messed up on the ground when they pivot. And now they're kind of, I don't know if they're stuck, but they're, if you can imagine, like slightly melted chocolate trying to move, like they're having difficulty moving their feet now because they ground their soft paws a bit in confusion.
Mm-hmm. And then you get one more.
Oh, I get another one. And they already weren't that, they're spelled chocolate. They weren't already at the top of their intellectual game. But the combination of my confusing them with the glitter and then the skateboards has completely flustered them. So they're still like hoping to attack and mad, but they really have no idea what's going on at this point.
Okay, and so unfortunately, during this, one of the lions kind of jerked a little bit, and some of the chocolate kind of flew off and hit Sapphire in the face.
No.
So this chocolate has kind of hit you in the face, and since it's like this rotting cursed chocolate, it's made you a little bit sick and confused, Sapphire.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think that makes me a little bit angry. So I'm going to swoop in with my jetpack and smash this lion that be-chocolated me with my cutlass.
So, why don't you roll a thwart opponent?
Okay, that's an 8.
Okay, so since you got an 8, you get to inflict an temporary unpleasant truth on them, but then also another ally suffers an unpleasant truth. So why don't you tell what you do to the lions, and then I'll say what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think I smack the lion and like I open up a hole in its side. It's like this. These chocolate lions are actually hollow, and yes, so it's leaking this rotten chocolate ooze now.
Okay, I would like to brave danger.
Yes, first let me just do the one unpleasant truth for one of you. So, I think that, Tintin, your aura is still visible and flashing, and I think Courtney realizes that you've gotten really like annoyed and upset with her. So I think you guys kind of are fighting a little bit and not really working that well together.
All right.
And then what did you want to say?
I'm going to brave danger and unfurl my giant wings that I don't usually like to show people.
Cool.
And just say, oh, for heaven's sake, get out of the way, Courtney, and try to swoop in and grab Princess Tintin, who I'm Princess Sapphire, because now she's got chocolate on her and the lions are there, and I'm just concerned about the whole situation. So
How many lions are there?
2.
Okay.
Just a pair. Why don't you roll with pluck?
Okay. Right. I got 7, but 8 with pluck.
So you make it through past or away from the trouble. And then you pick one. You don't suffer any direct difficulty. You create an opportunity for someone else and express a temporary truth for them. So what are you trying to achieve here?
I am trying to get Sapphire out of harm's way. My ultimate goal was to swoop in with my wings and grab her and literally take her out of the lion's immediate presence. But if nothing else, to just block them from getting to her.
So pick one. You don't suffer any direct difficulty, or you create an opportunity for someone else.
I'm going to create an opportunity for Sapphire.
So Sapphire, your temporary truth, I'm going to cross off the that you're sick, angry, and confused, and your new temporary truth will be that you are trying to escape from the you back off, that you want to escape danger.
I want to see if I can spin, basically do a 360, but downwards to sort of shave down into the lion's head.
Sure.
Spin around on the skateboard and see if it can sort of slice down into the chocolate.
Yeah, why don't you do a thwart opponents?
Great. Oh, cool. So I have a 12 total.
Oh, great. So you inflict a temporary unpleasant truth on them. Well, you get 2. So why don't you decide what happens?
I mean, can I skateboard decapitate this chocolate lion?
Yes, you can.
Great. So basically I push down on the back of my skateboard, the back wheels, and I fully rotate around in a circle, pushing down with all of my weight. And you basically see my pigtails sort of spinning up in the air as I twirl around in a circle, and there's a big smushing sound, and all of the chocolate from the head of the lion just gets shaved right off, and it's sticking to the wheels but flying off in all directions, and the lion just falls down decapitated.
That's awesome. So you also get another one, so
I think that as the lion is vanquished, all of the chocolate that's left of the lion starts to melt and become very hot, and it streams toward the other lion and starts to like all this like molten chocolate starts to like burn the other lion on its feet, on its like foot paws, because it's like coming into contact with other but like very, very hot molten chocolate.
So I think the other lion starts hopping around and gets very distracted because of this goo. So what do you all want to do now to get rid of this other lion?
First of all, I think that my orange aura starts to recede because that was really badass, and my admiration for Courtney has overtaken my irritation. Just wanted to state, less irritated, more impressed. Where is Sapphire at this point? Because I had sort of my last known action was trying to make sure that she was safe. So
yeah, I think you swooped in and pulled me away from the lion, and now I'm some distance from the lion, just sort of hovering with my jetpack coat.
Okay, so you are not like.
Yeah, I'm currently safe.
Okay. And where am I? I think I'm trying to figure out like the actual outcome of the last thing I did. Like I got you away, which means presumably I got away as well.
Yes.
Okay. And Courtney has decapitated one lion and incapacitated the other one, but is still near them?
Yes.
Okay. So I would like to just call out to Courtney. What do we do next? Because I'm following her lead.
So we still have one more lion. Melt it. Melt the other lion. We gotta get it really hot.
Okay. I'm gonna do a thwart opponent, and attempt to use my like glittery magic, like straight at the lion, in a beam of hot glittery magic, as it were. So should I roll for that?
Yes.
Okay. And that's with punch, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why the reroll button only works for me like a very small amount of the time, but I'm gonna just.
I'm just using physical dice. I hope that's okay.
That's fine.
You can trust me. I'm not lying.
Is it the 2d6s? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got 13. No.
Ooh.
Sorry, more than that. 14 with my pluck. Or punch, rather.
So you can basically inflict 2 unpleasant truths onto the lion.
All right. My first unpleasant truth is that my magical beam of happy laser hotness totally melts the lion.
Yeah.
And the second one is that the follow-up glitter sparkle magic coats the rotten chocolate so that it can't splash on anyone or otherwise inflict harm on the party. It has been sealed by glitter magic.
Sweet.
Take that, lion.
Hey, well, so the threat of the lions has been dealt with. So now what do you do?
What does the entrance to the castle look like?
It's basically like it's a big set of double doors. The castle is kind of like the candy house from Hansel and Gretel, but like in castle form. So it's like decorated with candies, different patterns.
Is it in its normal candy state, or is it also cursed and turned to stone?
Yes, it is also cursed and turned to stone, but you can like tell from the shape. So like you can't like it feels and tastes like stone.
Yeah.
But you can still open the doors.
Yeah, I go up to the doors and just like lick the door, and I'm like, just as I thought.
Courtney, I feel like I should warn you. Back when we were first here, I used some magic to try to check out the bunnies, and whatever's done this, the turning to stone, is really, really evil. Like I don't think we have any magic that evil, even in the fairy kingdom where everything is magic. So
this evil is no match for princesses.
I think you're right. I just thought we should be, prepared is all. That's all I'm saying. Not that, we got this. We're cool.
Yeah. You're not chicken, are you?
No,
and make chicken, little chicken arms. Yeah.
I mean, as someone who helped save your life 5 minutes ago, and everybody's lives several times in the last few minutes, I would like to state that I feel totally confident in all of our abilities, but that I also think it is sensible to be prepared when facing really, really super bad, horrifying, chill down your spine evil.
And Courtney takes this statement as total permission to just fling open the doors.
All right. Well, I continue to follow along, but I give Sapphire a look of sort of long-suffering resignation.
It's eerily silent inside the castle.
Oh, dear.
For those of you that have been here before, it's usually, full of activity. The kitchens are always running, but it's silent. Nothing is moving. Everything that had been living or was edible had been turned to stone. The colors of everything are muted. The saturation has been drained.
Princess Milky must be in danger. Quick to the throne room.
Okay. We'll follow you, Courtney.
So I skateboard in the direction of the throne room and while doing so, kind of leave terrible chocolate streaks on all of the carpeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's still chunks of lion just kind of coming off my skateboard.
I, without comment, on the situation, make sure to use my wings to hover enough over the ground as I follow that no chocolate can get on me.
Mm-hmm.
But I do note how frustrating it is again.
Cool.
Actually, Sapphire, do you want a hand? I'm sort of offering to carry Sapphire over the chocolate.
No, I mean, I've got my jetpack coach, so
that's right. I'm sorry. I forgot.
Yes.
Okay. So we're following Courtney, hovering over the rotten chocolate.
Cool. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep skateboarding towards the throne room till we get there.
Okay.
Yes. And Tintin, the doors to the throne room are closed, but you can just feel from inside this that same feeling that you felt from the bunny, but even more amplified.
Courtney, let's regroup a little bit before we go in. There's something I got to tell you guys.
We have no time to lose. We have to save Princess Milky.
Courtney, you're going to be needing some saving if you don't slow it down. I know you're really brave and cool in your jacket, but once, just listen a little bit.
Are there any mechanics for PvP for persuasion in this game?
Yes. So
because I think Courtney needs to be persuaded.
Okay.
So there is assert or face authority. When you give someone command or you resist doing something someone tells you to. I actually think it would be fun for Courtney to roll here to see whether or not, like, how much she resists.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna roll with pluck.
Or with poise. Or do you roll with pluck? Do you have a special?
Well, the thing is, oh, I see. I roll with poise to resist the persuasion. I was thinking more that I'd be rolling with pluck because I'm like so determined to dash ahead in action.
Well, mechanically, it is.
It's poise.
Yes.
Okay, I'll roll with poise. And I roll a 7.
So you falter or overstep. They choose run from above, but you also suffer a temporary unpleasant truth. So the choices are: they do what you want, treat you the way you want, to the best of their ability, or they suffer a temporary unpleasant truth that you decide.
Which of us?
You.
Lucian, I falter. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that I like sort of what do you, I don't know.
Yeah, you falter or overstep. So I will tell you what your temporary unpleasant truth is, but for dealing with Tintin, you choose either they do what you want, or they suffer an unpleasant truth.
So Tintin suffers and does those things.
Yes, but then I will also give you an unpleasant truth because you rolled a 7.
Got it. Perfect. So I think that Tintin like reluctantly goes along with plunging ahead, but something unpleasant will happen.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So you throw open the doors, and so first you see that kind of standing in the middle of the room is Princess Milky turned to stone.
Yeah.
And in, like, sitting on the throne is this young woman dressed in a very, like, luxurious black dress. It has like a giant train that kind of, like, say the throne is kind of like on like a little what is it called, like a diadem. It has little steps going up to it, so it's sort of elevated, and the train is like draped down the steps and onto the floor, and it's covered in like crystals, and she has like jet black hair and kind of like almost a naturally pale skin. And
it's the Princess of Fade, isn't it?
It is the Princess of the Fade. It's Saphira. And as you're going in, Courtney, so you're kind of recklessly leading the way. What do you say to her as you're going in? Like, what do you say to this Princess of the Fade as you're going in?
So I like skateboard in, and I'm like, give us back our chocolate, you witch.
And she extends her hand and like instantly turns you into stone.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna halt in my tracks and then kind of back up as inconspicuously as possible while trying to get to Sapphire to figure out what to do, since I've already tried to stop this situation from happening and failed, and just freaked out at this point. Like, they've got Courtney. I was unable to prevent any of this, and I really would like to not be stone. Yeah, if possible.
You're probably not going to be able to face this situation using violence, so you're going to have to figure out a different plan.
That is why I'm heading towards Sapphire to try to regroup.
Yeah, so I'm going to land in front of Princess Saphira, and I say, I'm Princess Sapphire, the pirate princess. You may have heard of me, and I've got the ahoy there move. So let's see if she has heard. Let's see what she has heard about me. That is an 8. So so I get to a temporary maybe for them. I'm more dangerous than I look.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she definitely she doesn't turn you into stone, which is a bonus of that you're more dangerous than you look. I'll say, and I think she kind of leans forward a little bit and looks at you, and she says, "Ah, yes, Sapphire, I remember you."
Sapphire, what's she talking about?
Well, I kind of robbed her warehouse that one time.
Oh.
And I'll just say that she wasn't always a princess of the Fade, so you may have knew her before.
Okay. I have a quick clarifying question.
Yes.
One of my skills requires, if I want to change back, a blot of fade, but I don't. I've missed how many do I have, or what happens if I do that?
So I am the one who has the blots of fade, so you would be giving them to me. You're
Okay.
not collecting them. Blots of fade are things that allow me to increase the difficulty of something or introduce new unpleasant truths.
Okay. I'm unfortunately going to give you one because I want to switch back. I used my hard candy to switch my persuade and punch.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to use a blot of fade to change back because I want my persuade back for this situation.
Okay.
So I am going to. Where's the stupid document? I'm trying to use my skill, but I have to find the actual. I have the know your dreams skill where I can talk to someone and roll with persuade to ask extra questions. Right? Am
When
I
you talk
understanding?
closely with someone, you may roll with persuade. Yes.
So I'm going to try to talk to her. I'm just trying to. It said roll with persuade, and you get to ask a number of questions based on what you get, and I'm trying to find where those questions are so I can pick them.
They're on your character sheet under the move. On a 10 plus ask up to 3, on a 7 to 9 ask only 1.
There we go.
There are 4
Okay.
questions.
Okay. So I guess I should roll for that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's uninspiring. I guess with persuade I get a 9.
Cool. So you can pick one question.
That's obnoxious. Okay. So I am. What? Did you say something?
No.
Sapphire? Okay. So, how could we get you to maybe consider taking a different course of action than turning everything to stone and taking all the chocolate?
So, So I think, well, I'm gonna answer as the GM, and then we can do a conversation in character. So I think she has a tragic backstory, and if you be kind to her and talk to her and kind of be kind to her and show her a different way, she could be persuaded to undo the curses.
Okay. Can I change my question then? Since now we know that.
Well, you can use your question, and then now we can go and you can just do a regular conversation.
Okay.
Like you can ask questions. You can ask however many questions you want in character, as like a normal part of conversation,
Right.
dialogue. Yeah.
I didn't know if I wanted to use my one know my dreams question. If that was like is she required to answer truthfully? Or
Yeah. Well, I mean, I answered truthfully, like as the GM, so now you have that information.
I see. I thought that I didn't understand my own skill. Okay. What's her name? Saphira?
Yes, Zafira, like Zephyr.
Yes.
With an
Okay.
A.
Hey, Zafira. I don't think we've been formally introduced, but I've heard about you. I'm Princess Tintin, the fairy princess. Just wanted to introduce myself here.
Sorry, you froze for a second. Can you repeat that?
Yes. I'm just taking a moment to introduce myself. Hi, Zafira. I don't think we've met, but I've heard of you, and I'm Princess Tintin from the Fairy Kingdom, and I just wanted to start off the conversation by, extending a hand, saying hello.
Are you physically extending your hand, like for like?
I am. I'm gonna be brave and literally extend my hand, and as a gesture of openness.
Yeah. So she actually smiles a little bit and like takes your hand, and when she smiles, you can actually like she looks more like a regular person, like rather than like, this like dark princess, and you can kind of see that while she is kind of working for the evil right now, she actually is like a regular person and was like a regular person.
Okay. And she does take my hand and like shake it. Is that right?
Yes.
Sapphire, if you want to jump in with me here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, I put my cut this in its sheath, but I sort of I keep my hand on it, and I say, Princess Zafira. I mean, we don't want to fight you, but this is really this. You can't just go into people's realms and turn them all into stone. I mean, that's really problematic in a lot of ways.
But I'm sure there's a reason that you're doing it, and maybe we could have a conversation and figure out what you need or what's been going on, and we could all try to, work it out together.
She stands up and kind of sighs and like looks around and like extends her arms like just like as a gesture, and she's like, she's like, when I was a regular princess, I came here, and yet, well, wait, I have a better idea. She's like, this was one of the places I lived as a child. On the outside, they all seem so joyous, so generous, so giving. Chocolates and candies and ice cream and all the wonder that they give to this world. Yet these people are so cruel. Like, they always treated me differently just because I was and she kind of looks at Princess Milky and said, I am her sister, but my mother was one of the king's mistresses.
Oh no. Well, that's not right at all.
They treated me like a stain, like a insect in a chocolate. And so now I have had my revenge on all of them. Nobody loved me, but the Fade welcomed me with open arms, and now look, no one will ever treat me like that again.
Well, I can tell you in the fairy kingdom, we sort of expressly don't do things like that. We're sort of more fond of, everyone kind of enjoying everyone's company, and whatever comes of that comes of that. And we certainly wouldn't exclude anyone based on parentage. So I would like to say that I think the way you were treated was wrong. And I think we should just talk about this situation a little more, because I really understand where you're coming from, but also this is going in a direction that might cause a lot of problems for a lot of people, including you and the Fade. There are some dragon issues to discuss, but I was wondering if, just as a gesture of good faith, if we agree to maybe put some ropes around the stone form of Courtney over there, who I totally admit can be really irritating in the way she rushes into rooms and demands things and stuff. I can see why you'd want to turn her stone. But maybe we could tie her up so she can't attack anybody, but you could turn her back from stone, maybe? Because she is one of our princess pals, even if she is a little headstrong.
Yeah. I mean, the pirate code, it does say that you shouldn't attack anybody without offering them a chance to parley.
That's true. Good call, Sapphire.
Yeah, so let me just... And I think I'm rolling in defense of Princess Courtney here. So
yes.
Okay, so that's a 9. So that's a temporary maybe.
It says pirate code. Thought those were just guidelines. But
well,
anyway.
they are just guidelines anyway. But
she extends her hand, and like these little shadow ropes. I mean, like, you know, those things kind of like wrap around her, and then she unfreezes Courtney.
And Courtney had been like 99% done saying, "Give back our chocolate, you witch." So you just hear come out of her mouth. And then she looks around confused.
Courtney, hey. We're just having a quick and really nice chat here with Princess Zafira, who was kind enough to turn you back from stone just now, and I'm giving a really pointed look at Courtney, like, please do not screw this up.
Yes, this is a parley, Courtney. We all agreed that under the pirate code, we can't attack each other while we're parleying.
Yes.
Courtney is like, what do you mean? I'm not stoned. That's just a prejudice about skateboarders.
Courtney.
What?
Take a look around. Remember why we're here. And think about the word stone in that context. And then maybe just let Sapphire and I take a minute or two more to have some conversation, and then join back in. Yeah.
So Courtney sort of like sticks her fingers in her ears, and a few like little pebbles fall out. And she just like shakes a few pebbles off the side of her arm, and she's just like, yeah, whatever.
Okay. Anyway, since Courtney is tied up in shadow ropes, I'm going to just sort of take a moment to take a breath and pretend that she's not making this situation possibly worse, and turn back to Zafira and say thank you so much for doing that. That really is a lovely sign of good faith. Is there any way that you would consider having fulfilled your revenge here, becoming a guest of the fairy kingdom's palace for a while, and returning the chocolate that we need to keep the dragon from attacking everyone, but we will treat you with all of the respect you should have gotten as the daughter of a king in the fairy kingdom.
She looks at Princess Milky and says, I want her to apologize.
That's reasonable. I actually agree. But I don't think she can apologize while she's made of stone. So perhaps we could give her the ability to speak a little bit, and maybe Sapphire and I could help her get some perspective on the situation.
So Zafiro kind of walks down the steps and goes to her with her like gloriously long dress flowing behind her. And I think she puts a hand on Princess Milky's chest and kind of turns her back into a person. And kind of like the stone recedes, like the color's coming back in, and like turns back into a person.
Princess Milky!
Princess Milky, are you okay?
What happened?
Well, it's a long story, and I think we'll have time to go over the whole situation later.
Who
and
are
I realized
you? Zafira?
Milky. Okay, Milky, look over here for a second, though. Tintin here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to ask you to trust me on this one. Try not to react to all of the things you're thinking, and just to take a moment. This is Zafira. You remember Zafira. We've been talking to her, and it seems like there have been some things going on for a while that need addressing, and we certainly wouldn't want anybody to feel like their only option to be heard was to turn everything in the Chocolate Kingdom to stone and leave us all to the fate of being eaten by dragons. So we were just having a parlay, right, Princess Sapphire?
That's right. I mean, we were talking about whether we should invite Princess Zafira onto the Princess Council.
And Courtney's like, why can't I move my legs?
Zafira, fellow Princess Zafira, I think if you wanted to extend your shadow ropes to kind of just quiet Courtney a little bit, nobody would think the worst of you.
I stick one in her mouth.
Sorry, Courtney, but sometimes a different approach is necessary. We'll be right with you. Anyway, Zafira, who definitely is in fact a princess, I would say, wouldn't you say, Sapphire?
I think Princess Zafira is qualified for the Princess Council.
Yeah.
If she agrees with the Princess Council's goals.
Absolutely. We we do function as a team, right, for the betterment of all of us princesses.
Yeah, and that's really the goal of the Princess Council, is to solve problems in the different realms.
Right, and we all have our strengths and weaknesses. There, are times when Courtney's super brave and stylish headstrongness is just what we need. And there are times when we put shadow ropes in her mouth. But we always know that she's a princess and we love her, and that we would come to her kingdom's aid. And that's what we do as the Princess Council. But Zafira has felt a little bit shunned. And in order for her to want to be on the Princess Council, I think we all need to acknowledge why she might have felt the need to go hang out with the Fade. So Milky, you're aware of Zafira in general, right?
She looks very ashamed.
I'm gonna take that as a yes. So Milky, it's just us princesses in here, and I think it's time for us all to be honest. I think why Zafira might be upset, and maybe do you have something to say to her?
Zafira, I was afraid that you would become their favorite. I wanted to be the chocolate princess. I wanted to be the chocolate queen, and you were always so beautiful, and you were always better than me at etiquette. And when I realized that they would have named you the heir, I was scared. And I know that's not a good excuse, but I'm sorry about all of the cruel things that I did to you and caused other people to do to you. I didn't know that we would push you to the fade, and I'm sorry. And
Thanks, Milky.
Zafira's like, well, I don't know if your apology can make up for the years of abuse, but it's a start. And so then she like lifts her arms, and like you can tell like all the color start to come back into things, and like the guards who are at the door turn back into humans, and things are changing. And then Zafira like collapses to the floor, and you can see this like kind of the black cloud start to like emerge from her, and this is like the dark fade magic like coming out of her now that she has like she has defied the fade and like decided to leave it. It like sucks out of her, and even like the black color of her dress comes out, and she kind of like rolls around on the floor a little bit because it looks like very painful, and you can see it like all drain out in this like swirling black cloud of like Mr. Miasma kind of floats menacingly for a few seconds and then flies out the window.
So as Courtney's like shadow ropes dissolve, like during this sort of dissolution of Princess Zafira, Courtney like just like pedals forward on her skateboard straight up to the chocolate throne and just takes a giant bite. She just starts like chomping down on it. She's just like, oh, thank God everything's back to normal, and is just like chowing down on it.
That's hilarious. All right, Courtney, be cool, man. Be cool.
I thought it would never come back.
We've all missed it. How about, hey, princess pals? And I think that's all of us now. Although Zafira looks a little bit worse for wear. Let's have a chocolate party. Milky, if it's okay with you. Yay! And I'm going to fly over to Zafira. And I would like to try to use magic to put like a glitter blanket on her that will warm her up and help her recover.
Since it's the end, you can just do it.
Awesome. Okay. So I float over to her, and like little fireworks shoot out of my wand, and then the sparks from it kind of softly flutter down and make a little shining blanket over Zafira that warms her up and puts some good feelings back into her so that she can be revived.
Yay!
Yeah. And I'm going to tell my crew that we're putting off the beach party until next month, and we're having a chocolate party this month instead.
Awesome.
Cool.
I'm going to invite my fairy crew also to enchant some of the chocolate so that it'll like dance around on the tables and things, and just make the whole thing. Let's make it a multi-princess celebration of
Definitely
princess power. Yay.
And Courtney's going to be a lot less hangry now that she has the chocolate that she was missing.
That's awesome.
So you can anticipate a significant improvement in her interpersonal skills.
And I want to take a moment to step aside with Courtney and say that I'm sorry that I had to have her sort of bound for a second, but I was really just trying to save her very sincerely, and I'm glad that we're all okay.
Oh yeah, and Courtney's just like so happy that there's chocolate again that she's just like, oh no, don't worry about it, it's fine. I love you so much. Here,
I love
have
you
a bite.
too. Bye.
Like she's like super nice again because she was actually just hangry.
Okay.
Yay! Well, I think this is a good ending spot for the game. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Before we end, I want to do a little just like stars and wishes. Stars being like what you really liked about the game, and then wishes being like what you would like to see in the game. And this game is in playtest, so if you have any comments on just like the structure of the game or anything. So why don't we start with wishes, and we can start with Steven.
My wish I wish it were a little clearer how to overcome obstacles, and that, I mean, we were able to put temporary truths on things like the lions, but it's not really clear what effect that has. It's like what you need to do in order to ultimately defeat the lions, and we were just it felt like we were just sort of making that up as we go along, as opposed to having any sort of clear path.
And what about you, Pearl?
Basically the same thing. Sort of I feel like I would appreciate sort of a set of things, like one being temporary truths and one being things that then happen. Like, I felt like I could cast a temporary truth on the lion if I went to thwart it. But does that mean that, like, my melting it was only temporary and it was going to come back? Like, I just couldn't quite... like, I got that maybe the temporary truth about myself was that if I wished hard enough, I could, like, double my bravery for a minute or something, but then attack the lion, and the concrete action was that I melted it or something. But it was the same thing. I just wasn't really sure what effects I could have at different times. I feel like there was one other thing. Oh, this would probably be helped if I had like really thoroughly read the playbook once or twice, like before the game, and really been able to internalize. But I wasn't sure how many blots of fade you had at your disposal, or like.
Oh, sorry. There was a slide on the PowerPoint that had little circles for each of the blots of fade.
Okay. I think I just didn't, like, there were certain elements of the game that I just wasn't sure how they factored in at any given moment.
Yeah.
Overall. But I feel like I shouldn't say too much about them because maybe they were more explained, and when I read through everything, I just did it too fast and didn't catch it.
Okay.
So my major thing is the temporary truths versus actions. But I really like the game overall.
What about you, Lucian?
So for wishes, my big thing is that, so I was the skateboard princess, and looking at the character moves, like the ones that you can choose, all of them are like very abstract and very like mechanical nuts and bolts about like sort of general game mechanic benefits. But I thought it would have been a lot more fun if the moves were about skateboarding, like were actually like tied in narratively to the idea of being a skateboard princess and like cool skateboard things you could do. Because I didn't even end up really engaging with these moves because they were so like abstract technical that I didn't have anything to like hook onto as to like why I would want to use them.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I felt like I almost used your skill in retrospect. I was like, I noticed that Princess Courtney's taking the lead. I'm going to follow. Like,
right.
But that wasn't initiated by you. I actually, now that you've said that, I would like to echo that as well. I think it'd be cool to have both. Like, I did use my hard candy skill and liked it. It was very useful. And my magically me skill. But I would have liked to have some actual, like, magic skills. Because I felt like I wasn't sure what spell, like a fairy is not like a sorceress, you know? So I didn't feel like I could cast powerful magic necessarily. And I would have liked to have like a couple like fairy powers that were, I don't know, fairy-y.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's one of the things you can do with your truths. Certainly, you could say one of your truths is I have fairy magic.
But like, what would that?
And well, and then it's like the moves. It's like if you're using a spell to distract the lions, then that's rolling with thwart opponents.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of how the mechanic works. It's like you declare that it's possible for you to do something, and then you roll to see what effect it has.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think that it would be a more engaging, like these kinds of very general character moves that I'm seeing on the Skateboard Princess sheet, like that, are like sort of related to the idea of her being like sort of gutsy and like impulsive and stuff. That's kind of interesting, but like could kind of apply to many kinds of characters and aren't particularly connected to the idea of being a skateboard princess. And I just think it would make the character type like more fun to have something that actually hooks into the idea of a skateboard princess. Like, obviously I could think those things up on my own, but I feel like if I'm getting moves from a character class or type, that they should be specific enough to like add like narrative flavor to that class.
Yeah. So why don't we do stars now, and we can start with Steven again.
Okay, well, definitely stars to Lucian, because I mean Courtney was just impulsive and fun, and yeah, I mean took the initiative and drove the story forward. And yeah, and stars to Pearl as well for the like Princess Tintin was trying to be like the grown up in the room and intercede.
Trying the active word.
Yes, trying was definitely the active word, and that, I mean, that gives space for Princess Sapphire to just be bold and dashing, and yeah.
And then you can go, Pearl.
Well, so I would stars for everyone. I totally agree about Princess Courtney. I think regardless of the sort of the wishes we were talking about in terms of character stuff, she was so clearly the skateboard princess, and the details about the hair flipping and colors, everything that were thrown in as, like, in addition to the moves being made, the little details about aesthetics and things really made her seem like a fully fleshed out character that was very entertaining, if exasperating, to collaborate with. And I thought Steven's use of the pirate code was like really well timed and excellent. I kept forgetting that skill was something that Sapphire had at her disposal, but then it would just come out at the exact right moment. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like I was not as sort of in character as I usually am playing these games, because I was having trouble keeping up with all of the different skills and moves and stats that were available to me. So I felt like I was not really fleshing out my fairiness very well. So it made me particularly appreciative of the piratness and skateboardness of my companions. So stars to both of you, and stars also for making the to Noella for making the opponents like the initial lions were really horrifying. Like to me, just like an existential level, the like rotting chocolate, like yeah. So thank you for making that engaging, if horrifying.
I'm gonna give a +1 to the stars to Noella for the rotting chocolate lions because that was just weird and fun. Stars to Pearl for keeping Courtney in check and like being a fun foil to be like, maybe you need to like calm down and chill out. Stars to Steven again for the pirate code. I thought that was just cool, like interesting flavor, and like just the whole idea of like having a pirate ship that's a Zeppelin is really pleasing to me. To the game itself, stars for the actual types of princesses, I think are all very interesting. I like the character creation part of expressing a truth about these different parts of yourself. I really like that you get a favorite color and that you have to write in it. I think that let's see, I'm looking at the character sheet to remind myself of what else is here. We didn't really get into the whole blot mechanic, so I don't actually understand how it works yet. So a true neutral on the blot mechanic because I don't understand it.
I would +1 to like all of that, I think. While I would have liked to be more fairy-y than I managed to be, I think had I not been so flustered at the beginning of the game, like I would have loved to try the space princess or something. Like they are really cool categories. And I like the idea of expressing the truths too. So +1 to all of that. And also I don't understand the blots and things. But thanks everybody.
Well, great. Thank you. I'm going to stop the broadcast now.
Thanks everybody.